last time it was no Tenet.
On today's episode, we finally review Tenet. He's Jay.
That's me.
I'm Alan. That's Ben.
Three bros with three opinions, all about movies.
This is Move Jabs.
Let's go.
All right, Tenet.
Sucked. I'm kidding.
So bad.
Oh my gosh, I was about to have a heart attack. You almost gave me a heart attack.
I knew it would come out.
No.
I knew the actual score would come out.
No, it was
So
so
good.
good.
You just messed with me the whole way home.
That movie's so good.
Hiding your true feelings.
It's so good. All right, so real quick, are we going to give stuff away in this or no? Just so they know
We
before they...
can do a little bit of it.
So there's going to be a little bit of spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
so
still
I
going to
think
watch it and still not really know what happened anyway.
Well, I
so.
think it's almost impossible to review this without giving some stuff away.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you
It's
really
not
can't.
possible.
Yeah.
It's not possible. So Tenet, Christopher Nolan's like current masterpiece, and I'm calling it a masterpiece because it is. It really is. It's a masterpiece, and I loved every second of it. It was
Well,
confusing.
not every second, because there were some.
There were
parts.
parts. There were parts that were frustrating, but
we're doing satire today, eh?
No, there were minute parts that were frustrating. So you're gonna go into this movie and you're gonna watch the first 30, maybe 40 minutes and be like,
2 hours.
What's going on?
You're gonna do the tool time.
Yeah, but
you're not gonna know what's going on.
as soon as it comes together, it all makes sense, and you're like, oh,
And it comes together so well.
yeah, it comes together fast
Yeah.
too. Once you get it, and the whole thing makes sense.
I'll give you that.
Once
It comes
you get
together.
it, you get
By
it.
the end, you're like, okay, I understand
And
exactly what
the
happened.
most surprising thing about this movie for me was Robert Pattinson. I saw him cast for this. I was just like, no. Just like when I saw him cast for Batman, I was like, oh.
Well, that's because you've never really seen him in anything
No,
like,
nothing-
besides
no.
like Twilight or something. Like,
yeah,
nothing-
but he was my favorite part of this movie.
yeah, he was
He
awesome.
definitely was my favorite part.
He was good. Yeah.
He was my favorite part of the movie. John David Washington, I think, did a great job.
His fight scenes were awesome. I loved his
Oh,
fight
his
scenes.
fight
He
scenes
made his
were-
fight scenes look so realistic and
They
so
did, yeah.
believable.
I thought him and Pattinson were like their combo was a great. It was
Yeah,
a great
they
1-2
played off of
punch.
each other
It was
really
really
well.
well.
They were
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
together.
I agree with that. I agree
Yeah.
with that completely. So it's about time, of course, but it's a spy movie.
Well, I mean, the whole premise is basically one man is trying to collect these 9 boxes that is called an algorithm, and
Right.
basically he's trying to end humanity because his own life is going like
To
towards
end.
that.
Yeah, so
Right, exactly.
so he's got terminal cancer, and this is the bad guy in this, the main
Yeah,
villain.
he's stopping the end of the world is basically what it is.
Yeah, he
What
wants
it's about.
the world
Yeah.
to die with him.
Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
if I can't live anymore, screw everybody. Everybody's
Ex-
going down. with
exactly.
me.
Everybody's got to go away.
And he refers to himself as a
With-
god in this because he can do that. That's his goal. He wants to have the ultimate power to be like,
And he was awesome in this movie, by the way.
Oh, he's
Also,
great.
He was
He played a
great.
great bad guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Good villain.
really, really, really good. And I think the acting all around in this was great. Every character, there wasn't a single supporting character, or anybody in this that made me say, "Oh, that sucks."
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah,
all did good.
I agree.
I think
agree
they
with
all
that.
did good, and the action was fantastic.
I thought that was the best part of the movie was with the action sequences and the action scenes itself.
Right. And I saw a couple other reviews, and I've seen and read people complaining that why does it just start with action? I think you had to. I think that set the tone for the movie.
Oh, the opening scene.
yeah,
yeah.
a lot of people are complaining. A lot of people that I've read in blogs and stuff that I did research on this for were like, it just jumped straight into the action. Why did it do that?
Yeah,
There was
but-
no setup, no
but you
plot.
know what? So did The Dark Knight.
It's like, who doesn't?
And that was
who doesn't
great.
want just straight
Well,
action?
I think
I mean, so did Inception. All of the movies do that.
I think the beauty of this movie is that there was still plenty of character development, there was still plenty of plot details, and there was still plenty of information that you would expect to come from the beginning that came from the end. It was just kind of reversed, kind of like the whole premise of the movie.
Right,
Everything was
yeah.
reversed. You get it at the end. I mean, the movie is all about inversion, and the movie was kind of inverted. You get the whole point of the movie at the very end.
Yeah.
Which maybe Christopher Nolan was thinking about that.
Well,
when he
you're
made it.
by watching it, you're supposed to be confused for the first.
Yeah,
half
you're
hour to
supposed
40
to. I think that goes along the whole theme of the movie. Inversion, backwards. Well, you figured it out at the end. And that I thought that was great. I liked it.
It does. The movie does kind of circle around back itself, to where it starts at one point and it kind of like literally does this loop where it goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Like every scene, you'll see it multiple times throughout the movie, and it makes sense when you see it a second time. You're like, oh, I remember that. That was
Yeah.
that was that the whole time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see it from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
That's,
I
think,
mean,
that's the best way.
Well
And
said.
it's plenty of stuff that's been done a trillion times with
But
the
not this
CIA
way,
and the
though.
spy. No, exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I was going to get to. Like the
I beat
CIA,
you.
the spy, the time travel. Everything in this movie has been done before, but this was presented in a way that will blow your mind.
It's like James Bond on hyperdrive.
Yeah.
That's kind of like that. It is a spy movie,
Right.
But it takes place in different, I guess, time periods where every actor's been there. It's very unique.
Yeah, it's kind of like James Bond meets Inception.
Yeah,
almost.
and like we said in the beginning of this, we're only going to give away a few spoilers. We don't want to ruin the movie for people that haven't seen it, and that's why we're kind of beating around the bush here and just giving you opinions. But let's just talk about what we didn't like, because there were parts in this movie that we see in a lot of movies that's really frustrating. And I know it frustrates.
I know which
it
one
frustrates
you're
you the
gonna
most. You just go ahead and say it.
Oh, the whole I put a gun to someone's head and then I racked the slide after talking to him
Yeah, so
for a few minutes. It's like, come on.
if you're making a movie with tactical CIA soldiers and special forces
say.
guys
Who Washington was.
who
you
know everything about firearms backwards and forwards and they trained with it, just do it right.
Yeah, you're never going to go
right.
into a building where you might have to shoot a bunch of people because they're trying to kill you, and then you need to rack a slide.
Let alone
Doesn't make any sense.
threaten them by putting the gun to their head,
Yeah.
talking for a good 2 minutes, and then when they finally give you a reaction, then you hit the side.
So
Like,
they-
wait,
I
so
guess-
you pointed a dead gun at them.
Right. So I guess they do that a lot for like dramatic effect. But if
Stupid.
anybody who like watches it, who like knows anything about guns, is like, well, why would you ever do that?
I
That
think
doesn't
it's
make
just
any
dumb.
sense.
I think that makes sense, like in the 80s, where it's like you wanted that, like you said, that dramatic effect. But now it's like you don't.
Yeah, and
it's
I think
outplay. You
especially
don't
when
need it.
this guy's supposed to be at like the caliber CIA
he's
tactical.
he's James Bond level,
It's-
and he should know everything backwards and forwards. And I think these directors love to do it because they love throwing that sound effect in because it's very dramatic, the of a slide. But it's just stupid. It's very frustrating for people who have at least some modicum of concept of
Ooh,
what
I like that.
of firearms. Yeah.
Layman terms.
Yeah. So
For the
that was
layman.
annoying. And then a couple other things were annoying. The biggest annoying thing for me for this movie was it's so convoluted and so complicated in the beginning that you really have to pay attention, and you couldn't pay attention at certain points because the audio levels of the music and sound effects overlapped the dialogue to the point where I found myself like turning my head toward the screen trying to hear it better, even though that doesn't work.
Yeah, or it got kind of muffled sometimes at some
But
points.
that was
Right.
So there's a couple scenes where the actors are wearing masks, and like you're saying, they were muffled, and I think it was because they were wearing a mask. And I'm like, there were a couple times I was trying to kind of like you said, pay attention, like almost read their lips.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what they said. I'm like, I just got to chalk that as a wash. I don't know what they said.
And I don't think it would have hurt the movie to throw some subtitles on there. I don't think that, like, for those scenes, only those scenes where, hey, he's wearing a mask, or I don't think it would have hurt the movie to
crank the
clear
volume.
or clear the audio up a little
Right,
bit. You can still have that muffled sound, or you can still change the audio of a person talking, but still make them comprehensible.
Yeah.
Where in this movie, in certain very key points where you really had to hear what they were saying, it was very difficult.
Yeah. So I agree with both. There's one of my gripes. Actually, we talked about this because we just watched it in theaters. Was so when you go back, I guess, in time, or when you're trying to, I guess it is going back in time.
Yeah.
You have to wear a mask. They're saying you can't breathe like that same oxygen.
Because everything's backwards and your lungs are moving back. So your lungs are basically.
So you have to pretty much breathe like the oxygen from the world you're kind of from.
Right.
There's a couple of scenes where they didn't apply, and we kind of
to
said
certain people, or if it did apply,
they didn't say
we
why.
couldn't catch it. We couldn't catch it. This movie was so fast paced from start to finish. It was nonstop. There was never a lull in this movie where you could stop to like think. You had to just keep up. And if you missed something, you have no idea why it happened.
Yeah, you definitely couldn't get up and like go to the bathroom or like grab another drink or something. You would have been
Well, I was going to
just
say
SOL.
it's kind of like the reason you hate Inception. You can't text through it. This is I would say that probably
Tenfold.
I would say tenfold. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you definitely can't. Like one guy got up to use the bathroom. I'm like, dude, you're done.
Yeah.
Don't come back. And the guy in the shorts, I'm like, don't come back in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So
this is it for you.
So the thing about this movie is you have to stay hyper focused to watch it. You have to, or you're going to be done. You're lost. And there were certain points where the three of us were paying as close attention as we possibly could, where, like you said, certain aspects kind of contradicted themselves based on other things that were stated. And
Like in the movie previously, and it just wasn't.
Yeah, and we were like, wait a minute, I didn't get that. Why can this character do something that character can't when they're doing the same thing? It just didn't make sense. But maybe they explained it. I'm going to watch it again to figure it out.
I'm going to have to watch it again just because.
And I highly doubt Christopher Nolan would avoid those details.
The only thing I think of is, so the one scene we're talking about is when she's on the boat.
Right.
Maybe she could because she got shot with an inverted bullet.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I just thought of right now. Maybe that's the only reason why, because she was the only one that never had a mask.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I mean, that's a spoiler. But we're not saying who. We didn't say who. We just said she, but you could probably piece that together. But yeah, so yeah. So you could piece that together. And yeah, I think that makes sense. So maybe she was inverted through that. I
didn't write the movie, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
that's a good fan theory, but it's just a really complex movie. It's very, very complex, but not in a way that makes you hate it. It's a way that intrigues you and makes you want to understand it.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite part of the movie or a favorite like?
Or can you not give that away right now?
No, I think my favorite parts all had to do with Robert Pattinson's dialogue with him and John David Washington, like the scene with the airplane.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Where they're on the bus initially talking about it, they get off the bus and Robert Pattinson's just like, this part's a little dramatic.
When they're in the chair talking?
Yeah. Once you see that scene, it makes so much sense. And you're just like, oh, yeah, Robert Pattinson, he's the man for that. That was tight.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So them going back and forth, like, I thought they were a really good pair together.
Yeah, they played off each other really well.
Really well, yeah. Do you have a favorite scene?
I know. All right, let's just cut to the chase. Let's get to your 30-second review of this.
All right, so you want to give my score?
Yeah,
we'll start with my score?
30 seconds.
Go for it.
I'm going to give it a 6.
You give Bill a 10 higher score.
But listen, that's just my opinion. This is just, like I've told these guys, it's just not my kind of genre of movie. If you like Inception and you like time travel and all that kind of stuff, then you're probably going to be like these guys and like it a lot more than I did, and that's fine. I just not really into that kind of stuff. So for me, it's a 6. It's not something that I would ever watch again.
What? Hold on. I pay for your ticket, bump your score up.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you something. If I would have paid for it, it would have been a lot less.
You'd never watch this again.
It's just not for me, man.
So no for you, no rewatch value.
No, so I even watched rewatched Inception like a week ago, and I was like, I still don't like. It's just seriously, it's just not for me. It's
everybody has a different
I'm not
taste.
trying to hate on the movie. It was it did have good action. It's just one of those things. It's just not for me.
Well, and it was beautifully shot, and we have to talk about the practical effects. There was no green screens in this. To be able to pull off what they did.
That's what I really, really liked about this movie.
To be able to pull off the visuals that they did without crazy CG and green screens, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take anything away from that.
The accomplishments that this film has visually are just ridiculous.
I mean, they literally ran a 747 into a building, and it was a real
and
building.
They really blew it up. Every explosion in this is real.
Yeah,
there's no fake explosions, and
no fakes.
Every fight scene they did it forwards and backwards. So they did this stuff forwards and backwards.
That was my favorite part. It was that everything was shot twice. It was going forward and backwards, like the scene where they're on the highway.
Yeah,
and the SUVs, I mean, literally going backwards at like 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then the fight scenes with Washington versus the bad guy,
right?
Where he's like doing flipping, going back and forth. I thought it was very, very well done. It was so unique that I'm like, this is awesome. That's why I loved it.
Right, and that's the thing too, is the scene you're talking about. John David Washington fights a bad guy. We won't give that away. He fights a bad guy early on in the movie, but then it circles back around to where you see that scene
that's
again,
saying, right, from a different perspective.
But you see it in a different perspective where stuff's going in reverse. But it wasn't them just like in any other movie, they would just rewind it and play that rewound. So but in this, they actually shot it twice.
Right. It was shot at a different angle, like from the bad guy's perspective, but every move was filmed again in reverse. That's why I'm like,
they actually did that.
Yeah, that's why it was awesome.
They were moving in reverse. It wasn't just a rewound video played forward.
Right.
That was
anytime
nuts.
they flipped, they literally flipped backwards. It was awesome.
Yeah. I see you rolling your eyes over there. You just don't care.
Okay.
You just don't care.
So,
okay.
Would you give it a 6?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 3 higher. I'm going to go with a big old fat 9er.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 9. And the only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is because the audio, the gun slide aspect, and I think that they probably could have spent a little more time with explanations of stuff. Certain scenes could have been a little longer.
So it's just pet peeves. That's why it's not.
Other
than that, though,
very minute details.
Yes,
Very minute details.
Same here. Just little pet peeves.
Little dumb stuff. Little dumb stuff.
I agree.
All right, yeah. If you've seen this movie, let us know what you think.
Let me know how much you hate my score.
Yeah. Everybody hate on Jay. Comment below if you think he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Or comment below if you think we're idiots.
Okay.
It's whatever.
I'm okay with it.
Or if you want to be really cool, subscribe and we'll love you forever.
Yep, it's true. All right, we're out.